The Buzz of UC Cafe, located at 64 North Main Street, Union City, is a cozy community-themed cafe serving specialty coffee beverages, hot and iced teas, sodas, delicious breakfast and lunch food, fresh pastries, and more. They are open Monday through Friday, 6 to 4, Saturday, 7 to 4, and Sunday, 7 to 2. Visit them online at www.buzzofUCcafe.com to place an order. Thank you, Greg and Kathy, for all your community support.
Good morning, even though it's afternoon. Good morning. This is Saturday morning, but we're doing this on Monday night. Welcome to the Buzz and our weekly Bears Den. We have with us tonight Mr. Bennett, Superintendent of Union City Area School District. He has kindly taken some time out of his busy schedule to visit us. I will say Mr. Bennett has been a very strong supporter of Jason and I and our trying to broadcast as much as we can from Union City School District, so we appreciate that. Mr. Bennett, I guess my first question is just give us a little background on yourself and how you came up into Union City.
Absolutely. First of all, I want to thank you guys for having me on, and thank you for all that you do for Union City Athletics. It's greatly appreciated. But as far as me getting to Union City, that happened about 4 years ago when the position became open. And I was on the tail end of a couple good decades at Fort LaBeouf and was ready for that move. So I've been here 4 years and we've been moving ever since.
Good. And I've heard nothing but good things, and I never got to work with you as a teacher, but I think I would have liked it. I've been substituting, but that's not quite the same.
And we do appreciate that.
I do too. It keeps me young, keeps me very young. So now we're here, kind of two parts here tonight. We're going to talk about this all-star game that you started, and then at the tail end we'll also talk a little bit about the school district and what any goals or plans you have. We want to cover both areas. We don't want people just to think you're all athletic. So, but how'd you come up with this idea of an all-star game?
Well, it was a collaboration with Coach Moon and Coach Thompson and myself. But we remember Liza, what a great basketball player, student athlete and kid she was and still is at Mercyhurst. So last year, unbeknownst to me, she didn't get to play in an all-star game. And it never came to my attention with COVID and everything else going on. I just assumed that it happened and whatnot. Well, this year, as you know, my son is a senior. And the coaches reached out and said, just a heads up, we don't know if that's going to take place. So Coach Thompson originally reached out to the East-West City-County All-Star game. And I think Coach Moon said that he had done the same thing last year, and neither one got a reply back. Okay, and Maplewood for years did an excellent job with their All-Stars, but due to COVID, they did not do it last year, and that was the reason why Liza didn't have a game.
Right.
And they informed Coach Thompson, actually just as soon as the season over, that they weren't going to do it as well. So we had a choice. We could sit and, complain about it or whatever. We could do something about it, and we decided to put our heads together and get this game together. And my grandmother always told me everything happens for a reason.
Yep.
And lo and behold, there's a bunch of kids that were seniors that weren't going to have this opportunity, who are really excited and happy, and so are their parents. So everything happened for a reason.
Good. And that'll be very good advertisement for the Union City School District and all that we do and so forth. Now, is this going to be an annual event? You're going to try to do it every year?
Absolutely, and we'll get better. We only had 2 weeks to pull it off this year. And what you said is one of the main reasons that we're having it. We want to showcase Union City High School, Union City School District, and community. It's
Right.
not just our school district that makes it a great place to be, but there's fantastic people within the community that have really turned around. Even the Buzz where
The
we're
Buzz
sitting
is
in
here. This
right here
is
today
great. Yep.
is part of the development. So we want to show people they're having extended hours here for the game.
She told us about that, thanks to you, and she was thanking you for doing that.
And Pizza Hut is having extended hours in case somebody wants to grab a pie on the way home or
Good.
whatnot.
Good.
So really going to showcase our community, and I think people are really going to have a good time here.
And our gymnasium too. I don't know how many times I've spoken to officials before the game, because I remember a lot of them when I was coaching basketball, that said ours is one of the nicest gymnasiums in the area and so forth, whether it's Erie County or so forth. Just the way it's done, the floor, the awards banners that are up and so forth. It's just really a very nice gymnasium, and we have a nice little press box, which we're very happy to have. Now, athletics in school. How important do you feel athletics are in the overall education of a student in school, high school, and high school we'll talk about it.
Great question. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't.
Neither would I.
Growing up, I didn't sit down at the kitchen table and say, I want to be a teacher, or I didn't want to be a superintendent. Not that some folks don't know that right off the bat. But what really got my attention as a young man was athletics. And it taught me discipline, it taught me goals, it taught me how to work for things. And then lo and behold, when I got to college and saw some coaching and what was going on in the interaction with young people, I thought, you know what, I think that could be for me. So athletics actually led to my career in education. And I know there's many young men and young ladies out there that might be going through a difficult time or whatever, and that one stability in their life is showing up at practice, participating in those games, and you often hear about how coaches become father or mother figures for those young people. So it's huge, very good.
Yeah, and there's a lot of kids I know from when I was teaching. There were those kids there's those kids who are into the academics and are good students, that athletics motivate them, but there's also those who really don't want to be there. And sometimes the only reason there is because of athletics and sports, and the only reason they keep their grades up is because of that. And that may sound a little callous, but it's very important. And also, I always use the example, you look at any famous American, not you have to be famous, but presidents and lawyers and things like that, almost all of them were athletic. They were, whether they were just a high school athlete or college athlete or what, but it is a very important part of their education. And I'm glad to have you on board with that. I knew what the answer was going to be before I asked it, but I'm glad I got that answer. Kind of a personal question. How do you split the time? I know you have a son that's still at LaBeouf and wrestling, and did quite well, as a matter of fact. How do you split your time between schools and supporting them both? And any jealousies there?
Well, thank you for your kind words for Jake. As everybody knows, I've got two boys. And Matthew is a senior here at Union City, and he came out with me after his freshman year at prep. But Jake decided to stay at LaBeouf. And I've got to compliment a couple gentlemen over there, Joe Sebastian and Shane McChesney and Eddie Burkhart. Those guys are like fathers to him. They've been coaching him in wrestling since he's been, I believe it was first or second grade.
Yeah.
And so when I came out here, it was my kid's choice, to be fair to them. Matthew loved it. He met people and became integrated really quick over here, and he decided to come. My wife and I are very blessed that the kids support each other.
Good.
So there isn't jealousy.
Good.
We split up our time. Matter of fact, before I went to work this morning, my wife and I were discussing how we were going to get one from wrestling and to the other one's baseball game and so on and so forth. But we work together, and the boys are always there to support one another when it counts.
Good. And I will say Eddie Burkhart, way many years ago, taught him in 6th grade at Conway School. And I know Shane, they were both Corey High School products, and that's where I graduated from many years ago. And they're good young men, and it's good to hear somebody speak for them.
And he loves Fred Cairo too. Him and Fred have a great relationship.
Good.
It's not a slight at Union City at all. It's just they're like a family.
Okay, well, and I give you a lot of credit for allowing them to make that decision and to do that and so forth. And I know Matt is very, very happy here, and the little bit I've gotten to know him is a very nice young man, as are a lot of the athletes here. I think we're really blessed with some really great kids that are athletes and great people as well. Now, we'll get, unless you have anything more to say about the All-Star Game or athletics, we'll get to the school part of it. What are your goals for Union City School District? Where do you see it heading to? Any big projects coming up or anything like that you can talk about?
Well, I can talk about a lot. So you just cut me off when
We
I
have
need
no
you.
time limit for this, so it's however long people want to listen. So
I think the community is blessed to have the school board pushing in the direction that we have been for the past 4 years. There's been a number of things that have been addressed to make us a vibrant district moving forward. The complete renovation of the secondary school was huge. It really needed it. Didn't know how much longer she was going to be able to limp along there. So we've got that behind us. A lot of people don't know this, but we're actually going into year 2 of about a 4 or 5 year renovation process at the elementary.
okay.
And a little thing known as PlanCon isn't available anymore in the state. And that used to reimburse school districts a good percentage of the money that was paid on the renovations. And we were one of the last ones to get it for our secondary. So times are not easy right now for folks. Groceries, gas, everything. And the board does not want to further burden everybody with tax hikes. So we've been doing all of these projects through 2 avenues. One, being very good with the money and good stewards that we collect, and 2, community donations. So you talk about the Union City Sports Complex, and you've got Kyle Blakesley and Troy Reynolds heading that up with a number of great people and former coaches. Yeah, and I apologize, I can't name them all, but if I miss one, I'll feel really bad.
And I'll add, they're all Union City graduates. They're all Union City and live in the town.
Yep. And what people might not know is they've raised over $250,000 so far. So when you see those new dugouts that'll be used tonight, and the new press box, and even the trees that have been peeled back from the athletic fields, I can go on and on. They've already done that and have goals to replace the press box. They've done the foul line fencing. The board just approved last month to do phase 1 of replacing those old fences we
I
have.
read in the paper. I was glad to hear that.
And those are all things that people see. What only the parents and kids know is the amount that has transpired with curriculum and technology. So curriculum was pretty stagnant about 4 years ago, and we have addressed over 40% of it with brand new curriculum, and that entails online memberships for all the kids to have online books, classroom texts, and we were well on our way to do the technology, and this little thing called COVID hit. And that just pushed us.
Right.
We had to ensure our kids were being educated, so now every kid's got one-on-one capabilities. We're working with Corey's community to try to write grants to get some more online capability for our residents. But right now we have plans to address things no matter what happens, and there's a lot that has been done. Moving forward, I would say it's going to be another good 2 to 3 years until the initial goals of what the board and I had in mind is done, and that's the transformation of the entire campus and curriculum to be back on par with our neighbors.
Good. Well, that's exciting, and I will say, you hear pros and cons, and all the kids doing everything through their computer and so forth. But I will say, as many years of teaching as 35 years of teaching, now 3 or 4 years of substituting, I wish I could have used, had the computer more when I was teaching. A lot. It's nice for the classroom, but especially when you're going to be gone. It's so easy for a substitute to go in there, and everything is right there for you. and lots of activities to do, and it's just great for a substitute teacher because we feel like we're doing something. Discipline is a lot easier because the kids like being on a computer, you know, and they'll do things and so forth. And I know from, we have a granddaughter that stays with us every other week, and I know from, if she misses school or something like that, she can go right on the computer and get it and doesn't have to go back and make up 2 days work or 3 days work or whatever it is. So people out there, I mean, I'll just put a plug for it as a Union City resident. It's just an old guy who sometimes, you know, goes on about stuff, and somebody who's not easily changed. I think that's a great idea, and I'm glad to see it. And I see the classroom teachers using it to its fullest, using it to add to what they do as a human being in the classroom. So, and it's even nice when you have to do it, you know, when there is a quarantine or something like that, and you have to do it from home. That's certainly not the answer. I don't ever want us to go to that. But from the school point, I absolutely love it, and I think it's great, and I hear a lot of good compliments about it. So that is very nice. Any other comments you have?
You know, just to conclude,
you'd like to bring up?
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody, you know, that's tuned in, whether it be a teacher, a staff member, administrator, school board member, community member, kid. The last 2 years have been hard, and it's not lost on me or anybody in the district how difficult it was for everybody, no matter what their role was. And this game hopefully will signify that we're back.
We're back.
And that not only are we back, we can do it even better than before. You were just talking about technology and different things like that. And so we hope everybody comes out, enjoys a nice evening, and is able to relax and get to experience the Union City community.
We hope they do too, and we will be there. And thank you for inviting us and advertising that we will be there. And the festivities start at 3?
3 for the players and families. Some of the media outlets have requested special pictures.
Okay.
So there's like the all-region teams, players of the year, different stuff like that. So we're going to get those done, and then pictures of the actual teams. And then at 4 o'clock, the skills competitions begin.
Oh, okay, skills start.
And the young ladies are very excited about the dunk contest. I think we have 4 times as many ladies involved, and I believe the rim will be at 8 feet. So they're going to be doing their Michael Jordan. For those of you that don't know, you can look him up. He's pretty good.
He was pretty good.
And having some fun. So looking forward for the kids.
So we will be there. We'll be there probably at 3, but we will be on the air at 4, and we'll show the competition, and then we'll talk a little bit about the game and give the winners and so forth. But we're looking forward to it. We'd certainly like everybody there. Is there a charge for the game?
$5 for adults.
Okay.
$2 for kids.
Okay, that's a cheap date out.
Yes,
Will the
it
snack bar be open?
Concessions will be open,
Okay.
and all the proceeds go to the boys and girls basketball program.
Okay.
They're
good.
just gonna, after we get out of everything that we paid for jerseys and awards and all that stuff, whatever's
Okay.
left over,
Okay,
they're
good.
gonna split up for the kids next
Right.
year.
Good. And as Mr. Bennett said, businesses in town are staying on a little bit longer. The Buzz is going to be open. Pizza Hut's going to be open. I don't know about the cafe downtown, whether she'll stay open or not, but they are going to be open if you want to get a snack before then. We're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to the season getting started. And by the time this airs on Saturday, we'll have done some baseball and softball. But thank you, Mr. Bennett.
Thank you for having me, and thanks for all you guys do.
Well, thank you for all you do. I've never gotten, maybe it's because I was a teacher, but I've never gotten as much cooperation from the superintendent as I have from you, and I would have liked the chance to work with you. I also, again, want to thank the Buzz Cafe for doing this. They love it. We've changed our location a little bit tonight, and we'll be going different places and around. And tonight, when we're doing it at 2 o'clock, the business is open, but there wasn't any interference. And we want that kind of ambiance, is that it's an open place, and we're here to talk. But we'll see you next week. Again, 10 o'clock Saturday morning. We'll try to hang on every Saturday. Next week, I believe we're having the Boyds here, Jeanette and Pete Boyd from the track and field team will be here to do another Bears Den. So, from us, our usual good night, God bless, and go Bears.